What if I told you we're living in the wrong year? That the calendar is off, not by days or months, but by centuries. According to one radical theory, it's not the year 2025, it's actually the 1700s. Because 297 years of history were fabricated. Welcome to the phantom time hypothesis. In the 1990s, German historian Heribert Illig proposed something shocking, that the years 614 to 911 AD never happened. They were invented by medieval rulers, a massive historical time fraud. Why? To rewrite legacy, manipulate power, and hide the truth. Illig noticed contradictions in historical documents. Architectural records didn't match the technological timeline. There was little archaeological evidence for nearly 300 years, and oddly, several calendars, Julian, Gregorian, Hebrew, had inconsistencies. So he asked, what if those centuries were inserted later? One of Illig's boldest claims? That Charlemagne, the legendary Holy Roman Emperor, never existed, or at least not as described. He argues Charlemagne was an invented figure based on myths and stitched-together kings. The empire, the battles, the grandeur, all part of a fabricated golden age. So who had the power and, the motive to rewrite time itself? Well, Illig actually names Pope Sylvester II, Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, and Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII. The goal? To place their reigns right at the start of the new millennium, the year 1000, for political prestige, religious symbolism, or maybe even darker reasons. So, Illig and his supporters, well, they point to a few things. First, there are really sparse written records from those so-called phantom years. Then, there's the odd lack of population growth, even though centuries supposedly passed. And strangely enough, some buildings that are said to be centuries apart look, basically identical in architecture, but, critics argue the theory just doesn't have hard proof, and they say Illig is maybe just misreading the gaps. Historians, on the other hand, they counter that war, disease, and chaos can explain the silence during the 7th to 10th centuries. They insist that manuscripts do exist, but well, they're rare because of time and destruction. Yet, some historians do admit the calendar is flawed. Leap years, Julian errors, and lost days during calendar reforms. All of that kind of hints that something is off. Maybe it's not 300 years, but, something's definitely there. If the phantom time hypothesis is true, then, honestly, our entire perception of history, wars, kings, centuries, is built on fiction. Humanity might actually be living 297 years closer to the real beginning. So, are we ready to redate the past, or is this theory itself just a carefully placed illusion? What if you've been living in someone else's version of time? Want more buried theories that challenge everything you know? Well, go ahead and subscribe to Chronicles Unveiled, where the truth doesn't care how many years it's been hidden.